karakia. Me inui tātou. Tūtaua mai I runga, tūtaua mai I raro, tūtaua mai I roto, tūtaua mai I waho. Kia tau ai te mauritu, te mauri ora ki te katoa, haumi e, hui e, tai ki e. Excellent. Well, for those of you who've been to a National Whole Team meeting before, you'll be well used to this housekeeping. So just a reminder, please do mute your microphones. I think everybody here has done that this evening, so thank you very much. Please raise your hand, or you can click on the icon to ask a question or to speak. We will have a bit of time for questions at the end of the hui, so I would just ask you to keep your questions until we come to that section. Please turn your camera on when you're speaking or when you're asking a question. It's lovely to see your beautiful faces. Please introduce yourself before you speak. You might want to share where in the country you are calling in from tonight, and just a reminder to be mindful of what's going on in your background. If there's strobe lights happening behind you, it might be a bit distracting for others. We might all wonder what wonderful parties are happening at your place. So this evening, we have a wonderful, beautiful batch of presenters. We have our Chief Operating Officer, we have our Aotearoa Advisor, our National Development Advisor, our Guiding Quality Advisor. We have some other members of the National Support Team too. We have our National Program Advisor, our Brownie Program Coordinator, our International Advisor, and our Jamboree Chair. So you'll see from the kind of breadth of areas that they cover that there's quite a lot of information in this meeting tonight. Lots of exciting stuff. So here's the agenda. This is what we're going to be covering. Quite excitingly for me, and I'm sure for some of you as well, there's not a heck of a lot of me talking tonight, which is nice. So we're going to hear from lots of other people. You won't get Lizzie'd out this evening. That's my plan. And I'm really looking forward to hearing from all of these wonderful people with the updates they have to share. So we will kick off with a welcome, which I have already extended, but welcome if you have just joined us, and a couple of brief notices. And really tonight it's just about some of the changes that we've made to National Whole Team meeting. So you will have probably noticed in the national calendar that we are holding one iteration of the National Whole Team meeting per term rather than the two that we had last year, one which was held in work hours. We realised that we had a lot more attendees who came along to this one, and so we made the decision to consolidate, knowing also that now Teams technology is so great that we can easily share the video with those people who can't make it. And also thinking about those who can't make it, we have prepared a new question form for those who, in your team, you might have someone who says, oh, I really can't go that night because my son's got soccer or whatever it is. You can let them know that if they do have a question, then they can fill in that form. And we did send out that form, and we will continue to do so when we invite people to National Whole Team meetings. We do have one question which was really helpful tonight to share when we get to the Q&A section. So your questions can be included even if you're not here. But first off, I'm going to pass over to Heather Kinlock, who's going to talk to us about some moving and shaking, coming and going in our organisation. So over to you, Heather.
All right. Kia ora koutou. I'm Heather, and my role is the Aotearoa Advisor, and I live in the South Waikato. So we've had some recent appointments as for local coordinators. So welcome to our new coordinators in Hub 3. We have a co-LC team for the Wairoa team with Laura Holliman and Amy Maguire. In Hub 4, Jazz O'Sullivan has stepped up to be the Kauaro Ohinamuri local coordinator, and in Hub 8, Kaylee O'Connor has taken on the Travis team as LC. The vacancies that are still out there, the Development Delivery Coordinator and the Area Development Coordinator for Area C at the national level. National Forum, Between now and National Forum, several delegates and representatives are finishing their term, and so there will be vacancies. An email will come out from me shortly to the regional hubs where vacancies occur, asking for expression of interest. At regional level, we're still looking for regional coordinators in hubs 2, 4, 5, 8 and 9. Girl opportunity coordinators in hubs 5, 2, 5, 7, 8, 9 and 10. Young leader coordinators in hubs 5, 8 and 9. And across the local teams, there are still vacancies in hubs 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. So yeah, that's where we're at the moment. And we have a few interviews in the pipeline for some more roles. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Heather, and thank you for all of the amazing work that you do. Heather is just sensational in how she manages all of the various things that she does. So if you do know anyone, e te whānau, who is interested in taking on another role or doing something a bit different, please do encourage them to put their hands up for some of these roles. Lots of great opportunities to be involved in various different things, but also lots of great opportunities for growth and development, stepping up into another role. So thank you very much to the Aotearoa team. Now I'm going to welcome our National Development Advisor, Margaret Shaw, to talk to us a little bit about Udutu, which is our online learning platform. So over to you, Margaret.
Kia ora, I'm Margaret, and I live in Pororua. I am going to I'm asking to take control, hopefully, and I'm going to try and go out to Udutu. It is there for training modules, managing risk and unit activities, managing unit behaviour, and many, many more. We do want all leaders, whether you have been with us for a long time or the new ones are doing it as part of their LQ, to definitely complete the managing risk and unit activities. So to show you how to get into Udutu, and we have the login here. Now, I'm not sure if this is going to work or not. Probably not by the looks. No. So when you go into Udutu, I don't have a screenshot. Oh, it did. It worked. Whoops. Going many times. But I don't know if you can see it or not.
It's not sharing with us, Margaret.
Yeah. So you need
to talk people through it.
If we go to the next slide, if you want to take control, I'll stop sharing. If you want to take control back, please, Lizzie?
Sure, I can take control, no problem. Here we go. Here's the next slide.
Yep. And the next slide is, so when you first go into Udutu, if you click the login button, using the link that's in the PowerPoint, you will be asked to enter a user ID, a password, and the organization. So you can create whatever you want as your user ID. You can create a password, and if it's your first time, it will then take you to a screen where you have to enter your personal details. You will then be emailed a link to verify your account, and once you've done that, it will bring you to the home page for Girl Guiding New Zealand. Then you will go to the activities, and you can see all the modules that are there for you to have a look at. And even if you've been in the organisation for some time, it is often quite good to go and have a look at the program ones for a refresher. There's managing risk. There is working. If you want to be a mentor, this is where you find your mentoring one. Team building. So there is taking girls away overnight. So there are a lot of good modules there, and it's worthwhile having a look. If you have difficulties accessing it, please email learning and they will be able to help you. So thank you. Please go and have a look.
Thank you so much, Margaret. And yes, I just want to echo what Margaret was saying about the refresher idea. It can be really wonderful to just click back in, see what may have changed since you last took a module, and you never know, you might learn something new. Who knows? While we're speaking about modules, I'm going to continue on that thread, and I'm going to pass over to Judith Bright, our Guiding Quality Advisor, who's going to take us through the leadership qualification update.
Kia ora koutou. I'm Judith. I reside in the east part of Auckland. So just following on from what Margaret gave you in terms of how to get into Udutu, more experienced leaders, we have excitement for you because we have an update to the LQ modules, and you can have a lot of fun by going in and redoing those, even if you did them a long time ago. Currently, up there in Udutu, the current modules are the first 4 listed there. The Introduction to Leadership, which currently potential leaders do before they sign their leadership agreement. Then there is the Program Essentials, Girl Essentials, and then the Outdoor Essentials, which is not a Udutu module, but I just popped it there, and the Managing Risk. The introduction was never intended for potential leaders. It grew out of another program, leader program, and it's been used for a long time, probably not very well where it's been sitting, so that will disappear. And the revised modules, which should be available very, very soon, look like the new ones down here. So there will be LQ1, which is Leadership Essentials, and that covers, I'll just go over these and then I've got the detail on the next slide. LQ2 Program Essentials, that's by section, and then there's the Program Delivery Essentials by section. Outdoors hasn't changed and Managing Risk hasn't changed at this point in time. So I've tried to give you a little bit of an overview of the module content. On the left, we've got the Leadership Essentials, which is for all leaders to do. And it starts off with a bit of our story, which is some of what was in the intro. So it's just a really quick look at who we are and where we've come from. And I know you might say, oh, but we all know that. A new person coming into our organisation in a leadership role may not have that background. So that's why that little bit's in there. And then the key piece about in this module is the WAGS Growing and Learning Framework, which is what all of our programs, whether it's girl or adult, are now based on. And that includes the other 3 things there, thinking about leadership and looking at youth-driven and intergenerational leadership. And then there's a piece on our structure and your role, which obviously is going to morph a little bit over time. And then the next one is the Leadership Essentials, which is essentially an overview of the program content. So there's one for each section. And I've just put the Pippin one up there. There's not, I'll just take a step back, sorry, and say that the lower boxes, those are links in the module where you can just go in and do one at a time, because otherwise it's a bit long, or you can just carry on through the whole lot. So you can start on any one of those. The middle one, the Leadership Essentials, is not, because it's quite short, so it doesn't have tabs to choose from, but it really just looks at the program badges, what they're for and how they fit together. And then the last one is Program Delivery Essentials, and this goes through best practice, what your unit leadership team looks like. A lot of this is very, very similar to what was already in there. It's just been updated a little bit. Managing your unit, and then quite a bit more on planning skills, putting together an annual program, a term program, and then a run sheet for the night. And then there's a little bit on some program content. And again, those are for each section will have their own to do. None of them are hugely long. Well, maybe the Leadership Essentials, but you can split it, as I said. So that hopefully will be up very soon. Thanks, Lizzie.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Judith, and thank you for all of the hard work that you and the team have been doing on these modules. It's really exciting to have some updated modules there for people to have a look at. So again, I'm going to, ring the bell for the refreshing idea. Feel free to go in and have a little look, see if there's anything in there that you haven't come across before. Now I'm going to take you through a bit of an overview of our mission critical plan for year 2. So for those who haven't heard anything about this plan, this is our operating plan that we introduced in 2025. So it's a 3-year plan, and really it's I suppose that the kind of heart of the kaupapa is getting back to basics, making sure that we do the really important things well, and then, preparing our organisation to thrive. So what I want to share with you tonight is probably I suppose the headlines of the plan for this year, which is our focus initiatives. So we have a handful of focus initiatives which really show you where particularly the National Support Team will be focusing over the next, well, it's not 12 months anymore, 10 and a half months. So I'm going to take you through them one at a time and tell you a little bit more about them. So the first one is Empower Local. And this is really the implementation of the volunteer structure review that we were carrying out last year. So we're going to start by implementing changes at the lower levels of the tree, if you like. And so we're going to start with unit, community and local level changes in the first half of 2026. So we're going to give you plenty of information about this over the coming months. Nothing is going to kind of come in like bang, and people will be unaware. So you may remember, if you were either part of a focus group or you took part of it in a survey, or maybe you came along to the information evenings last year, that we're trying to bring back this idea of really empowering our units on the ground, really empowering our local teams. So what we're offering is a number of extra roles at the unit level that units can choose whether it suits them or not. This should be by communities for communities. So for example, in that unit level, there's some unit support, which could be someone to help with some of the more admin functions of running a unit. We also are consolidating our younger leaders, as in our under 18s, into one leadership group, rather than having currently that there's some that are young leaders, there's some that are RILs, etc., etc. And so there's a couple of things there that are just designed to give people options to make sure that they have the right setup for them locally. So at the moment, we are working through the operational changes. So for example, I'm sure you can imagine that OGM being set up in the way that it is, we need to go in and we need to probably make some changes and make sure that it all works. So that's something that we're doing at a National Support Team level, just preparing. We're not going to roll these things out without notice, but we are working on it in the background. And we also just want to reinforce to people, we talked about vacancies earlier. Please don't wait to put your hand up if you do want to step into one of those roles. Most of the existing roles that we're recruiting for will be similar in the new structure, or they might have related roles that you could easily transfer into. So we don't want this to be a barrier to anyone putting their hand up and taking that next step. And we're still working through the changes at regional and national levels. The project team have a meeting tomorrow, which will be great, where we can start talking about some of those, pick up where we left off at the end of the year, those next things that we're working through, and these will come later in the year, but we will keep you well in the loop. So keep an eye out on the usual places. Leaders Link is always good for a bit of an update, and occasionally we will send out an email that is specifically about something like this, given that it's quite a big kaupapa. So that's the first focus initiative. The second one is hero badges. So I'm going to talk you through what this idea is. So what we'll be doing this year is introducing new hero badges for Pippins and Brownies. We won't be introducing them for Guides and Rangers this year, as we know that they're going to be very busy preparing for Jamboree. So in the second half of 2026, these badges will be rolling out, and then in 27, we will have them for all sections. So these badges focus on skills, like I've said here, innovation, entrepreneurship, marketing, teamwork, organising, and they will be achieved through fundraising activities for Girl Guiding New Zealand. Now, some of you, I just want to sort of hark back to the past, some of you will remember well biscuit badges and what they used to look like. We're planning to make hero badges as attainable as possible. So trying to make sure that we're not overloading units with their activities, and we want to make sure that they can be achieved through a range of different activities. For example, you might have a group of rangers who decide to fundraise through doing a weekend of digital detox. So hero badges will be as flexible as they can be. They'll be achieved annually. and they'll be special. They're going to be, you know, as sparkly and as fun and collectible as we can make them for our young people. And we also will have an extra special badge that will be available for the top 5 units per head of capita. You know, we're taking into account the size of the unit in each section who raise the most money for Girl Guiding New Zealand, and they'll receive special superhero badges. There'll also be a couple of other special bits and pieces in there too. We're just bringing all of the final details together, and we will make sure that we have more information available for you as soon as possible. So keep an eye on Leaders Link in the first instance, and there'll be more info coming over the next couple of months. The third focus initiative is property consolidation. And I just want to sort of just start by saying this is not the property rationalisation strategy that was. We've moved to a new approach to property, and what we're really wanting to do is be very strategic with the property that we hold. We want to have this really solid spine of property throughout the country, whether we own it or whether it is, it belongs to an external partner. But we want to make sure that we've got the right properties for our purposes. And we need to make really robust decisions to retain the properties that serve us, but also maintain them. You know, we really want to look after our properties as much as we can. And on the other hand, you know, as part of this, there will be some properties that will be sold or returned to council ownership if they're not serving Girl Guiding New Zealand in its current form and into the future. So one of the things that we want to do as part of this focus initiative is, you know, really look at our community partners. There are a number of organisations like us who hold a lot of property around the country, and there are good opportunities for us to collaborate with them. So, you know, whether it's Scouts, whether it's St John's, other community organisations that also hold property, we would like to be able to, you know, have a kind of mutually beneficial arrangement with them, which will hopefully start to reduce some of that external hire cost. There has been a special subcommittee set up of the board that will be helping to guide this property consolidation initiative, providing focused governance for it. So it's a little bit about that. And then the other focus initiative that I'm going to share is called Right Size Growth. And this initiative is kind of all there in the title. It's really about helping to energize the growth of our organisation, but at a level that is really desirable and sustainable. We know that, you know, to get 30,000 members would be amazing, but it would also be a huge transformation of our organisation, given, you know, the size of the support that would be required to achieve that as well. So I'm not saying, you know, never say never, but I think we're really going to aim for good practical approach to growth. So we're going to stage this. The first stage, we're going to be strengthening our onboarding for both our adult and our youth members. We've had some fantastic assistance already. I want to just thank Katrina Clokey particularly, and the Te Whanganui Atara team, because they have been wonderful in helping us to improve some of these processes, and they have just been so energized in getting out there and really flying the flag for the organisation. So huge thank you to Katrina and her team. And then we're going to be looking at existing units that could welcome more youth members. So we know for some units there are reasons why they're not filled to capacity, so we're being mindful of that too, but there are also some units where they're actually really asking for more members. So we really want to do what we can to fill those units and make them thrive. And we're going to be identifying how marketing can best support the growth in those targeted areas. So this is also, you may have noticed, kind of connected to the Empower Local project. So we're really hoping to get these two initiatives working together to deliver really great outcomes for all of us around the country. So that's a little overview of the Mission Critical Plan. And now I'm going to pass over to our Chief Operating Officer, Angela Reeve, who's going to take us through a policy update. Always our favourite part of the meeting. Ange, over to you.
Thanks, Lizzie. Kia ora koutou. I'm Angela and I'm based in Otipoti, Dunedin. And as Lizzie said, I always have the most exciting slot of these sessions, which is great. So I'm just going to take you through some key highlights under the new fundraising policy and guidelines. So permitted activities under the new policy and guidelines are, it applies to all fundraising by or for Girl Guiding New Zealand, and this includes external supporters. Community ownership of fundraising is encouraged with oversight by the funding and brand team. Units and local teams can now fundraise up to $2,000 per event or campaign, which is really exciting. Prior approval will be required for fundraising activities that involve corporate, national, or charitable partners. Excuse me. Grant applications will require prior approval with 4 weeks' notice before the grant deadline. Raffles will require prior approval with an expected value over $5,000. And you must notify the funding and brand team if you're going to receive prizes over $500. All applications to philanthropic grant bodies also require prior approval. Oh. Okay. The last bit is prohibited fundraising activities. Members under 18 years of age cannot participate in selling or purchasing tickets for raffles that require a licence. Fundraising for individual benefit is not permitted using the Girl Guiding New Zealand name or brand. Prohibited raffle prizes include firearms, liquor, tobacco, and any items that may impact the Girl Guiding New Zealand reputation. And any questions, or if you need specific guidance or advice, please feel free to flick me an email, and my email address is at the bottom of this slide.
Awesome. Thank you so much. That is just a wonderful overview of that new policy. Many of you will note that that is coming out just as we're starting fundraising for Jamboree. So please do have a good read. Make sure that you're all across it. And if you have any questions, then make sure to get in touch. Thank you so much, Ange. And now I'm going to pass over again to Judith, our Guiding Quality Advisor. I'll give you a minute, Judith. I'll just give a little spiel about it. So at the end, well, actually, I think it was more to the middle of last year, we announced that we were doing some work on the program framework to update it. So Judith is going to give you a little bit more information now that we have completed this work. Over to you, Judith.
Thanks. I was half asleep there. Sorry, so I'm glad you woke me up. Right, I'm just trying to think where to start on this one. That doesn't quite fit totally on the screen. A number of years back, all of our girl programs were built around a program framework, which set out various things that we would meet in terms of including in programs. It kind of got a little lost for a while, and we brought it back. And in order to assist any task force that's working on new programs, we've set up a steering committee who will help with the oversight at that level. So they're responsible for ensuring that any program revision is aligned with our program framework and principles, program and principles framework. And some of the things there is that it needs to fit in the growing and learning framework. Then the issues of diversity, youth voice, outdoors, WAGs, and its relevance to current youth membership. And that steering committee is chaired by the program advisor, the National Program Advisor, Jenny, and it has membership from the groups that you can see listed there. And they're there not to write the programs, not to say, hey, you should or shouldn't have that specific thing in there, but to make sure that the overview and direction is correct. And I think that will help us keep things on track, but it also will provide some support to the task forces, because I think Jenny will be the first one to tell you that it's been a lot of work, feeling that they're a little bit isolated over some of the past work. But I would like to say thank you to the work that program team has done over the last few programs that they've brought out.
Thank you so much, Judith. And I'd like to echo that as well. The program team have been doing a wonderful job, and this is really designed to assist and make it easier overall. And I also want to thank Judith for all of the hard work that she has done in this piece of work. It's really, really appreciated, Judith. Thank you. So now I'm going to pass over to the program team, and they are going to share some updates and also some exciting news about the Brownie program review. So over to you, program team.
Kia ora everyone, I'm Deborah. I'm a Brownie leader of 3 units in Christchurch at the moment, and the Brownie program coordinator. We are about to get back into the Brownie program review, which is really exciting. I can't wait to get into it. And we need you. We need people to apply for the task force, which will be made up of Brownie leaders, including some young leaders, leaders with editing and writing experience, and some youth council representatives. We will be reviewing the program and the activities, and what's already the work that's already been done will be reviewed, and also creating, researching, writing more activities, seeking feedback and consulting with other leaders, which is not as onerous as it sounds actually.
Awesome. I will
I
take
think
you
there's
through
another slide.
Yeah, there is, Deborah. I'm just going to quickly mention that youth council name there is just being used as a working title as we're still working through the youth participation review. So just so that everyone doesn't think, oh, what's going on? But I will now hand back to you, Deborah.
Thank you. It's going to involve monthly online meetings and a small amount of work in between meetings to research things and seek feedback. We're starting meetings in March. And if you would like to apply, please fill in the expression of interest form. And the link, the link is there, but we would love people to apply because it's going to be a really exciting piece of mahi.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Deborah. And yes, please do put your hands up. I know that there have been so many Brownie leaders who are very excited about this kaupapa. So I'm hoping that everyone will run in their droves to fill in that form there. We'll also make sure that we send out the link to that form in the next leaders link as well. So if you don't get it tonight, then it will be coming into your inboxes shortly. And then I'm passing over, I believe, to Jenny, who's going to share some more program related information.
Hi, I am here. Right, so letting you know that unfortunately Ali has resigned from her role for personal reasons. So I really wanted to thank Ali for all the work that she did as guide program coordinator. She contributed. She was especially great with creative program ideas, and I wish her the very best for the future. So thank you to Ali for all the work that she did. She is going to be missed, but we will let you know the process soon, because we'll need somebody in that position to help with the Brownie program review and the guide program review. Okay, just a reminder, Queen's Guide and Aoraki Award extensions. The Queen's Guide extension form, you'll need to fill that in if it won't be completed by the time the Ranger is 17, and you'll need to fill that in at least 3 months before the Ranger turns 17, and the Aoraki Award extension form needs to be completed at least 3 months before the guide turns 12 and a half. Those are 2 different forms now, so please can you use the 2025 forms? If you fill in the old form, it doesn't have the required information, so it will just get sent back to you. The Ranger form goes to the Ranger program coordinator, and the Aoraki forms would normally go to the guide program, but as we haven't got anyone in that role at the moment, please send them to me at National Program. And for all new leaders, or for all leaders changing sections, we've got Facebook groups you can join for advice, ideas, and sharing in communities. Each section has their own page, so such and such Girl Guide NZ Pippin leaders, or Girl GG NZ Brownie leaders. And apologies for the background noise. It was silent until I had to turn my mic off.
Always the way, Jenny. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your update and for the amazing work that you and your team do.
Thank you.
Yes, all good information for people to have. Alrighty, I'm going to pass over now to one of our other national advisors. Our international advisor, Joe Tyler Cole, is going to talk to us about World Thinking Day and World Conference. Over to you, Joe.
Kia ora koutou. I'm based actually in the guide hall at the moment in Whakatane.
Excellent.
So yeah, just touching on World Thinking Day. This year is a special World Thinking Day. It's 100 years celebration. I didn't want to assume that everybody knew why we had Thinking Day on the 22nd of February, but there it is. It was Robert Baden-Powell and Olav Baden-Powell's joint birthday. So there we go. Have the next slide, please. There is a pack that has been put together by WAGS. It's the World Thinking Day resource. It is available on Campfire and the link is there. And I
Joe, there we go. You're back.
I hit return on the wrong thing. Sorry. I have also put it in the chat as well. And the theme is on friendship. So it covers across 3 particular sort of areas, time and tradition, growing together, and then celebrating 100 years of World Thinking Day. So we look forward to seeing all your events and meetings, celebrating the milestone. There are also online celebrations happening, so have a look on there. I think this bit is for Jenny.
So it's just a reminder that if you're completing the full resource, you can count it in the following way. So for Pippins, it's a unit badge. For Brownies, it's a Whanui badge that is unit badge as well. So unit Whanui are interchangeable now. Guides, it's the Global Exploration Unit badge. Rangers, it's clause 12 of the 12 by 12 challenge, WAGS or Guiding Spirit Interest Certificate. So there's a bit of flexibility there depending on how the girls need it. But if you need support with that, feel free to email Ranger Programme or ask on the Facebook pages just for a quick advice. If you're not doing the full pack, you won't be able to count it in that way. For example, if you're just going to an event and they're not doing the whole badge, that would count for Brownies as a Discover Globe activity, attend a Thinking Day celebration. So if you do the whole pack, that's how we count it. But if you just go to an event, that's counted separately. Thank you.
So the next bit for me is talking about the 39th WAGS World Conference. So this has got an underlying theme. We see, we care, we act, and focuses on a young person's event, which is the We See, the We Care, which is part of the Olav Baden-Powell Society event. And I know we've got Olav Baden-Powell members in New Zealand who are planning on attending that event, so that's very exciting. And then We Act is sort of the main part of the conference. It is in Siem Reap in Cambodia in June, and I am very lucky to be one of hopefully 3 delegates attending. If we can have the next slide. And it all sounds great and a nice trip to Cambodia, but why World Conference? So it's all about bringing all the member organisations together to make sure that the governance of WAGS is kept together, and that we're looking at celebrating and shaping and progressing the shape of Girl Guiding and Girl Scouting. We are excited that we have had some very strong young leader applications to be part of that team attending, and we are currently in the process of evaluating those applications. If you are curious about the World Conference and what it's all about, there is again some more information on the Campfire platform that you can go and access. That's me.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Joe. It's always lovely to have, it's like you're kind of beaming in from the rest of the world with all of that information. So lovely to hear a bit about what's happening in the WAGS universe. And now from international to an event of international significance, I'm going to pass over to our Jamboree chair, Maddie.
Thank you, Lizzie. Kia ora, everybody. I'm Maddie. I'm the Jamboree chair. I'm based in Wellington. So tonight we've just got a few little things to go over for Jamboree. The first one is we still have some vacant roles on our committee, and also we're starting recruitment for our next phase of roles, which is our group leader roles. So these group leader roles look after a sub-camp of around 300 people at Jamboree. So if any of the roles listed there interest you, please do get in touch. I'm happy to have a conversation with you about what it involves. But yeah, if you know anybody or you yourself would like to do one of these roles, would love to hear from you. Cool. The next part that I wanted to talk about is our Jamboree Youth Advisory Group. So hopefully guide and ranger leaders would have seen that there were applications open to be a part of our Youth Advisory Group for Jamboree. And we have accepted 25 youth onto our group. So we've got 14 rangers and 11 guides. And I'm not going to list off all their names in this meeting because I think that's a long list, but I know some guide and ranger leaders did want to see who was on there. So I can arrange to get that up onto Leaders Hub so you can see who made it onto the group. But we had our first meeting the other week, and we've got an awesome bunch of youth, and they had a really good conversation about the Jamboree name and the Jamboree mascot. So we will be able to announce what they've come up with to the organisation very soon, which is really exciting. So thank you to all the leaders who endorsed different people to be on our group. We're really excited to have them. Next slide. So also on Jamboree about the equipment. So all our local coordinators and regional hub coordinators would have received an email from Ruth about the equipment that you hold in your region. So thank you very much for your time collating all of this. I know it can be a big job, and you may have done it for the last Jamboree, but we know lots has changed in 5 years. So thank you for doing it again for us. We really appreciate it. We also would like to have an equipment representative from each region. This is somebody that our committee can communicate with around what gear you have if it changes throughout the year, and also getting your gear to and from Jamboree and all sorts of other things. So if you might like to be an equipment representative for your region, then please also get in touch with your regional hub coordinator about this. I think this is a role that you do not necessarily have to be attending Jamboree to do, because this is mostly in the lead up to Jamboree. So if you can't attend but still want to help, this might be a good role for you. And similar, we just want to discuss transport. We've had a lot of questions about transport to and from Jamboree. So just to help clear some of the questions that have been coming up, there will be shuttles available from both Auckland and Hamilton Airport for Jamboree. The shuttles from Auckland will be additional cost, which we're just working through now, and we'll be able to communicate that out. So when our youth members register for Jamboree, they'll be able to select which shuttle they need at the time of registration if they're choosing to fly in. I've had other questions about whether you have to fly in. No, you don't. You can also get dropped off, you could ride your bike, you could walk, you could get the train, you could get the bus. Whatever you want to do to get to Jamboree is up to you. We don't need to know every single transport option right now, but as a region, you might want to start thinking about how you will be getting your contingent to Jamboree, which is also why we need a representative from each region to be our transport rep, who we can communicate for that as well. So if you might like to do that, please also get in touch with your RHC. But if there is any other questions about transport particularly, because I know there has been, please pop them in the chat and we will try and get those answered. And then just a quick note on fundraising. Obviously, we've touched on the new policy and guidelines, but now is a good time to start fundraising for Jamboree. And we are creating a Jamboree fundraising document just to help support you with fundraising specifically for Jamboree, which will be shared very soon. And that document also includes a different bank account number for GGNZ to put your fundraising money in for Jamboree, which is different to the one on the policy and guidelines. So that is also now on the Jamboree webpage on the Girl Guiding website. I will put the link in the chat because I think that sounded a little bit confusing. But I think it would be really cool. We'll keep the meeting going, but while we're doing it, if your team are planning some fundraising ideas, to perhaps share those in the chat today, because I know there's lots of questions about fundraising. It'd be really cool to hear what people have been up to or what they're planning. And the last thing really is just to say, if you need any further information or any support with anything, please do get in touch, because we have information that we can share with you. We've created a PowerPoint presentation for parent meetings. So if you're hosting meetings with your families about Jamboree, we've got a PowerPoint ready to go that you can use, which we intend to share with the local coordinators and regional hub coordinators in the next kind of week, but it's already been sent out to some people and some people have already used it. So if you've got a meeting planned and you want a PowerPoint ready to go, we can send that to you now. So just send us an email. But yeah, I think that is us for now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Maddie, and thank you for all of the amazing work that you and your team are doing. It's it's inspirational actually, and it's very exciting. So just a huge mihi to you. On fundraising for Jamboree, I don't want to jump the gun, but I do want to share with you that we are going to make available an online portal for fundraising. So this should make things a lot easier to keep track of your unit funds that you've raised together as a unit. So there'll be more information coming about that. We are just working through getting it well embedded into the website and making sure it's all working for everybody, and then we will provide you with more information too. So hoping to make it as easy as possible, and also hoping to prevent poor Kay, our finance team lead, from getting too many grey hairs or losing too much sleep over the back end of all of the fundraising. So exciting stuff ahead there. Right, and I'm afraid you're stuck with me again because I have a little bit of a kōrero to share with you all, but about something that is really wonderful and really exciting. So I just wanted to share to the wider group. You probably did see an email come about this, but we have started our beginner Te Reo Māori classes on the 4th of February. So really awesome. We've got a full group of people who've taken up that opportunity, and we have a waiting list, which is wonderful. So please do reach out, fill in this form if you're interested. You'll see the link to the form there. You also can use the same form for Te Reo classes as Te Tiriti or Waitangi workshops, which I'll speak about in a moment. But really great to see so many people taking up that opportunity. The classes, just so everyone knows, I actually used to be taught by the same teacher, same kaiako who teaches the class. He's really, really wonderful, really welcoming. I think people have quite a bit of fun. He's got a good sense of humour. So please don't feel that there's any barrier there to taking up the opportunity. We'd really encourage everyone to have a go, whether your knowledge of Te Reo Māori is maybe a couple of numbers and a couple of colours, to whether you have a little bit more of a fulsome understanding. So very cool to have that opportunity available. Also, I wanted to let people know that we're going to change the day between terms that these classes occur, because we're very mindful that if someone has got guides, say, on a Wednesday night and all of the classes are on a Wednesday night, then they're never going to be able to take up that opportunity. So we're going to make sure that that day moves around to give as many people as possible the chance to take part. We're going to be in touch via email with dates for the next classes, so please, keep your eyes peeled for that. We're also just in the process of finalising this kaupapa with a provider, some Te Tiriti o Waitangi workshops. So these workshops are really designed to facilitate understanding of Te Ao Māori, the Māori world, and also to have a bit more understanding around Te Tiriti o Waitangi, the Treaty of Waitangi, and the process through which it was signed. So they're really, really interesting workshops to be part of. When we have finalised the details with the provider, then we will also be in touch about that. So if you're interested in taking up that opportunity, that is also on its way. So now we have reached the point where we're going to have some time for some questions and answers. So I just want to say here is the submission form if you do know of anyone who wants to submit a question ahead of time for the National Whole Team meetings. And before I open it up to the floor, I'm going to take you through a really good question that was asked in this ahead of time form. So the question talked about what marketing was being done and how we would be able to track what was going on with marketing around the country. So what we've done here is we've taken a few screenshots to show you where there are new marketing materials. So if you'll find them here in National Resources, and that's very small for me, but I believe it says marketing and advertising. So this is where you go if you're going through OGM, or if you're on Leaders Hub on the login part of the website, you can find the same setup here, OGM National Resources. So that will take you through so that you can download some of this advertising material. So this is an example of one of the resources that's available. This is, just an ad that you could put up, or you could print it out as a flyer, for example. If you were going to a gala or something like that, or a Santa parade, there are a bunch of resources there that would be suitable for that. We also advertise particularly for volunteers through some of the volunteering platforms. So Seek Volunteer, Volunteering Auckland, Volunteering Canterbury, there's all of those volunteering organisations around the country. So just so you can get the links quickly, we've included them in this slide. If you would like to go through and have a look to see what is in that Google Drive, there's a bunch of good material there. We're also going to be adding more to it periodically. So, it's all there. If you're ready to go out and advertise for girls or for volunteers, it's all there. Also, if you need any support with advertising, please do get in touch. You'll see there's an email address here, volunteersupport@ggnz.org.nz. And I just wanted to share a really great example of these marketing resources out in the wild. So this is from Te Whanganui-a-Tara, Wellington, which I called out to Katrina Clokey and her amazing team earlier in this hui. So they have been doing some fantastic mahi, getting the word out. They've been really proactive in trying to get more girls, trying to get more leaders, and they've had a lot of success. It's really wonderful to see this region is just absolutely rocking and rolling. Sometimes literally, I know, with all of some of the earthquakes that happen there, but I meant more in a very exciting fashion. So please do have a look at these resources, and if you'd like to get in touch, please do. We would love to see more and more of these kinds of images and this kind of advertising around the place. So that answers that question, which was helpfully asked in the pre-form. So now before I go to karakia, I'm going to go back to this slide. Do we have any other questions this evening? Everyone, just another minute. You'll see if people do submit ahead of time, we can prepare some nice pretty slides to help us answer. Rachel.
Kia ora, I'm Rachel from Te Whanganui-a-Tara. Angela, or anyone, are you able to expand upon what that for individual benefit meant, or for fundraising? We had a discussion in the team earlier this week about we weren't quite clear what that meant.
Sure. Thanks for your question. Oh, sorry.
I can help with this one too, but you jump in.
So individual benefit simply means fundraising that you'd like to do for an individual member. So that could be for a girl member's fees or to pay for a specific member's activities. So those are the activities that can't be done under the name Girl Guiding New Zealand. So it just means that you'd need to clarify with any donors that the funds that are donated would benefit the individual rather than the organisation.
Awesome. That was way better than I could have answered it, Ange. Thank you very much. Any other questions?
Doesn't appear to be, Lizzie. I've been flicking through the screens to see if there's any hands raised.
Lizzie, you've got 2 in the chat there.
Oh, I've got 2 in the chat. Thank you, Maddie. All right. Just scrolling through now. Just give me a second to get to them. I can see that there's will there be new tents purchased? Is that Maddie, if you've already answered some of these, you have.
I'll read the 2 questions that came out. The first one is,
That'd be
when will
great.
new uniforms, tops, badges be sent out? From Kelsey.
When will new uniforms, tops and sashes or badges, sorry,
Badges.
be sent out? I think that would be a really good thing to email the volunteer support crew about. So make sure that you get in touch with the team and they can give you the exact dates. I don't have the exact times off the top of my head. And Maddie.
And the other question was, Karen said she submitted a question ahead of time, RE Jamboree cost, and was that one received?
No, it wasn't. It may have come in today. Jamboree cost, I believe that we announced the costs earlier, Maddie. Do you want to speak to that one?
Yeah, we did announce the costs last year. I'm guessing there's a specific question around the costs. Karen?
A high cost. About why it's so high. Is that, I'm guessing that's what the question is, Karen?
Yeah, that'd be correct. So yeah, I did try the link wasn't working. It was locked originally. So I had emailed off a question, which marketing only just got this morning and forwarded it on. So it obviously didn't make it through. But yeah, I mean, I'm an accountant, so I fully understand that we've got to meet a budget. And I guess it relates a little bit to Lauren's question as well. The cost does just seem significantly high, and it's just it's. I know I've been to Jamboree; it's a great experience, but how do we kind of justify the cost, and how do we get that message across as to how it's come to the figure that we've come to?
Maddie, do you want to speak to that? I can speak to it too. You just pass it back if you'd prefer. Okay.
Yeah, can you start?
So, Karen, there's been a really extensive process that's been gone through by the Jamboree Committee. They've looked at other similar events. They've looked at events happening overseas, and the cost of our Jamboree is within what we would, it's very similar to what other events are charging. What we know has happened, particularly, well, actually it's happened everywhere, but it's been felt harshly in New Zealand, is there's been a huge surge of inflation that's happened during the period between when the last Jamboree was meant to occur and when our Jamboree is happening now. So what we have found with so many suppliers is that they are simply charging so much more. So as an organisation, we have to make sure that we are charging the right amount so that Jamboree doesn't end up costing us. Jamboree has to make sure that it's not a cost to the organisation, which would then take away funding for the core things that we do in our organisation. So that's just a little bit more information. But what we can do is Maddie and her team can have a little think about how we might be best able to have that conversation with particularly any parents who might have those concerns, and then we can share some kind of FAQ suggestions and suggested answers with you and with other leaders if that is needed. So question, thank you very much for asking. Maddie, was there anything you wanted to add, or did I largely cover it?
Yeah, you did a good job. And yeah, we can come up with some information for leaders and things to support those conversations with parents.
Awesome. Great. Yeah, thank you. No problem at all. We can do that FAQ with leaders on cost. We can absolutely do that. All good. Alrighty, Stefano. We have come to the end of our time this evening. Thank you so very much for coming along. It's always wonderful to have this opportunity to connect as a wider guiding whānau. We always really appreciate also the work of the presenters, and when they come along to present at these hui, it's just kind of the tip of the iceberg of the work that they're doing within their own team. So hugely grateful to all of them, and hugely grateful to all of you for everything that you do for our young people, for our leaders, whatever part of the organisation you're involved in. We're really, really grateful to the amazing kaupapa, the mahi that you put into the kaupapa. It's really inspirational. So that closes us off this evening, and I will now say a karakia. I hope everyone has a wonderful, safe start to the term. I know the term has already started, but it's in its kind of winding up phase. Lots of summer camping happening. I'm really looking forward to seeing all of the pictures and wonderful stories that come in from you all. So, me inoi tātou. Ka whakairia te tapu. Kia wātea ai te ara, kia turuki whakataha ai, kia turuki whakataha ai, haumi e, hui e, tai ki e. Pōmaria i te whānau.
Thanks, team.